guys, it's Ashton with Oakland Roots. Hopefully you enjoyed our first seed unboxing video, and today we got orders in the mail from Baker's Creek Seeds and Burpee Seeds. So we will bring you along for part 2 of our seed unboxing. The first one I'm going to talk about is Baker Creek Seeds. They actually are just for about 45 minutes from us, and they are so much fun. That company is one of my favorites just because you can find so many unique seeds that you can't find anywhere else. Usually we make a trip up there and go visit their store, and it's the cutest little place. But this year, unfortunately, with the pandemic, we were not able to do that, so we ordered them online, and all of their seeds have free shipping. And I highly recommend ordering their catalog because there's stories behind each variety. There's all kinds of stuff included in that catalog. So the first thing I will talk about is the ornamental corn we got. The first one is corn Hopi turquoise. So these are all going to be field corn. So they will be decorative only use, not edible. This first one is Hopi turquoise, and it is kind of royal blue with white kernels in it, and I'm very excited. Blue is my all-time favorite color, so I'm excited to see what that one turns out like. Next we have Big Horse spotted corn, and this is a variety. There's some that are kind of blue and white, some black and white, and some red and white, but almost all of them have speckles in there. The next is Atomic Orange, which is a really deep red orange color, and I think this would be so pretty mixed into wreaths or incorporated with pumpkins and your decorations inside or outside. Then we have strawberry corn, and these are adorable. These are little bitty, probably about this size, this big, and they really look like little strawberries. They're really deep red kerneled corn. Next we have striped japonica or japonica. This one is a really deep maroon corn kernel, but it's got really pretty green and white striped leaves on it. And we actually tried to grow this one last year, but our decorative corn patch, we kind of had too much going on and let it go by the wayside. So we're not sure how this turned out, but we're excited to give it a shot again this year. Next, we will talk about some of the flowers we got from Baker's Seed. The first one I have is African Daisy Blue Disc. This one is a really pretty white daisy with a blue center. We have 2 different varieties of Amaranth, which these are going to go in our cut flower garden and make a really pretty big bold centerpiece in an arrangement. The first one is Golden Giant. And the next one is Love Lies Bleeding, which is a red, and it's a little more, it drapes out the side, and I'll put a picture up on the screen. The next thing we have is Calendula, which we are trying to grow quite a bit of this year. This one is Strawberry Blonde, so it's kind of a cream color with deep red bits in with the petals. Next we have Cockscomb, which these are one of my favorites. These get to be huge. They're really tall, and the heads, they kind of look like a brain, but with bright colors. And my grandma used to always grow these, and we actually had seed from her from 2008 that she gave me last year, and every one of those seeds came up, and it was just so pretty. The first one, and we grew each of these colors last year as well. The first one we have is Orange Peach. The next one is Tornado Red, which is a really deep red color. And then lastly we have, which is my favorite, is Variegated. This one is a combination of pink, yellows, and oranges. And every single flower head will be different. Some of them might be split down the middle, half pink, half yellow. Some might be kind of striped, some might be splotched. But within one plant, each one was completely different. And that was definitely my favorite of last year. The next one we have is Gaillardia, and this one is a really pretty mix. Some of these are perennials. I'm not sure if this one is. It is frost hardy. I'll have to do a little more research on whether this is a perennial in our area or not. But this one is Lollipop mix, and I really like the fringier petals. A lot of times the Gaillardia looks a little more like a daisy, but this one's red and yellow with beautiful double flowers. Next for our cut flower garden, we have Aster's Starlight Formula Mix. And again, this is just a mixture. It looks like it's mostly pinks and purples, and we are excited to try that out in our cut flower garden. We have Black Eyed Susan Cosmic Candy Mix. We tried these out last year, and they were really pretty. And we will sometimes put these in hanging baskets to where they can grow up along the hooks, but also over the edge, and they make a really beautiful hanging planter. Next, for our cut flower garden, we also have sweet peas. These are America, which is kind of a striped pinkish red and white. And then we also have, this one's a butterfly pea. I have not planted this before, but the information in the catalog seemed really interesting. It's called Thai Double Blue, and it's a lot of times it's used for food dye, and they said it'll make a really pretty blue lemonade. So I'm anxious to give this a try and see what we can do with it. Next we have Cosmo's Apricot Lemonade. So these are kind of a pale yellow, but they have a really bright pale pink center. And I think these would be really pretty in an arrangement. And Cosmos are super easy to grow too, so you can throw these seed out anywhere and they will add a lot of color to your garden. We have Bachelor's Button Classic Artistic Mix. Again, one for our cut flower garden. We have Nasturtium Cherry Rose Jewel, which is kind of a peachy rose pink color, and it is so pretty. It's a little bit variegated, and that one just really drew my eye. And then we have Purple Emperor, which is a really bold, deep purple and pink striped nasturtium. These are actually edible too. You can just pop the bloom off and throw that in a salad, or just eat it straight off the vine. Some people say it has a little bit of a spicy taste to it. We have Petunia Super Bisma Mix, which petunias are very hard to grow from seed because they are very tiny and they take a long time for the seedling to not be so delicate that you can transplant it. Last year we grew the Spellbound variety from Burpee seeds, and we loved it. It had these huge leaves, which I'll talk about that more later because we have those seeds in our order too. But I thought the petals on these looked very similar, so I'm anxious to see if they're kind of close to the same variety, or how that will end up looking. We have Poppy, which is Flemish Antique. These are beautiful. We have not grown any of the poppies from seed. We have several seed varieties that were given to us, and they all look so pretty on the packet. I'm so excited to try these out and get them in the garden. It seems like when it's time to plant the seeds, we are either too busy or haven't had a chance, so I'm very excited this fall to find a place and get these in the ground so we can see for sure what it looks like. We got Dianthus Hollandia Purple Crown, and these will grow in kind of a ball of flowers, and they're all different colors and they're beautiful. Dianthus again is one of our favorites because it's very easy to take care of. Sometimes it will reseed itself and you can get it to come back each year. Like last year, I had a Dianthus that I just threw the pot in the shed, and the next year it was already green and blooming before I even took it out of there. Then we have Pansy Brushstrokes Viola. This one is just wild. I mean, I love the stripes. It almost looks like paint splatters. It's got those deep purples with yellows and whites. I cannot wait to see what this one ends up looking like. Then we have Dahlia Unwins Mix. Last year was the first time we planted dahlias from seed, and they turned out really good. We had those available in the greenhouse, and we kept a few back for ourselves, and they're a lot smaller than your typical dahlia. They're a little better in a pot, and they just had these really bright, beautiful flower heads on them. That is all of the flowers I got from Baker's Creek, but next we will move into the vegetables. We got two varieties of tomatoes. The first one is Millionaire tomatoes. We had several requests for this in the greenhouse last year, so we're going to try to grow that again and have that for sale. And then we have Tomato Orange Peach. I thought this one was really neat because the inside is kind of a peach color, And it's supposed to be very sweet and a real small size. I like the smaller size because if I don't get on top of the bug and insect issues, then they don't get worms near as bad as the larger varieties, and they're really easy to throw in a lunch. Next, we have two different varieties of melons. We have Tigger, and according to the website, this is the most fragrant melons that they have tried. A rich, sweet, intoxicating aroma that will fill a room. They are very mild tasting, and the fruit weighs up to 1 pound. So these will be a fun one to put on an archway to where we can just walk through under the arch and pick them off straight off of the fence. The next one I have is a Gaillardia melon. This one is sweet, aromatic, and slightly musky in flavor, and it bears a 2-pound fruit. And part of the reason we got this one is just because it is so beautiful. We thought it'd be fun one to try. Next, we have Rouge Diver lettuce, and this was the free seed. So if you order from Baker Seeds, you get free shipping, but you also get a free seed packet in the mail, and you don't know what they're going to send. So this is an interesting red variety of lettuce. We have Listada de Gandia eggplant. So we have tried about every year to grow eggplant and have not had a lot of luck, and I think part of that is because we don't tend to it a whole lot because we don't know really whether we like it or not. So that kind of gets pushed to the back of our priority list. And but this one I thought would be really fun. It's purple with kind of white stripes on it, and so we're gonna give it another try this year. We have Blue Lake bush beans, 274. These are a must-have in our garden. We grow these every single year. We grow a whole row, and they produce like crazy. And the thing about these beans is you will pick and you'll pick and you'll pick, and then for a week or so, they'll just stop producing. And a lot of times you'll think, oh, they're done for the year, but do not give up on them, because after they have a week or so off, they will come back and start producing again like crazy. And as long as you keep these picked, they will produce all season long. Next, we have habanada peppers. So these are a type of habanero, and they look just like the habanero, but they're sweet. They have no fire, no heat at all. So we're anxious to try those. I like a little spice, but I am not a fan of really hot peppers, so we'll see how these go. Next, we have sweet dumpling squash. These are they're really small in size, and they're white and green striped, and we're actually growing these more for the decorative use than any eating type reasons, but we thought they would be really cute to add to our pumpkin patch. Next, we have a few different kinds of herbs. We'll have cinnamon basil, which has a cinnamon smell and a slightly spicy flavor. It's a Mexican variety of basil. And then we have cardinal basil, which this one has beautiful deep red flowers on it, and we're actually growing this more for our cut flower garden and more for a decorative use than for consuming as well. Lastly, we have lemongrass. So this was huge in the greenhouse last year. There was such demand for lemongrass that we couldn't get our hands on enough. It repels mosquitoes, and it is also a perennial. So if you stick this in the ground, it'll just keep getting bigger and bigger. So this is definitely a must-have for 2021. That is all the seeds I have from Baker's Creek, and next I will go into what we ordered from Burpee Seeds. While we're on the topic of vegetables, I will go ahead and do the vegetable plants that we ordered from Burpee. The first one we have is sweet corn on deck hybrid. This one was actually meant for containers. So if you have a big container on your front porch, you can grow a few stalks of corn in that. And we thought this would be really good for our customers in the greenhouse that don't have a lot of yard space, or they don't have a field to grow some of this corn in. This is perfect to grow on your front porch, right outside your door, and we thought it'd be kind of fun. We will have some of these in the greenhouse, and we will also be trying this for ourselves this year so that we can tell people how it went and keep you updated on that. Next, we have two different types of winter squash. We have Acorn Table Queen, which we grow this every year. This one is, it's very small and dark in size, and we always grow this on arches. and it is really good to eat, and then it will eventually turn bright orange. So if you harvest too much to consume yourselves, you can use that as decorations in the fall. We also have vegetable spaghetti squash. I personally have never grown spaghetti squash, but I'm intrigued by all the recipes I see with putting hamburger inside to cook it like that. We have a plethora of hamburger with the cattle farm, so this is going to be a fun one to try this year. We have Hale's Best Jumbo Cantaloupe. This is our favorite cantaloupe we've grown. Mom and I are not really typically big fans of cantaloupe, but for some reason this variety, we love the taste. It produces like crazy. I would suggest you stagger your plantings because it will produce a lot of cantaloupe all at once that you will not know what to do with it all. Next we have Okra Clemson Spineless. This is a green variety of okra. Our favorite okra grow is actually red okra, and we have saved enough seed pods over the year that we have a ton of that. But last year we also grew the green, and green is probably better for canning just because the color stays a little better than the red does. The red kind of loses all its color and almost turns brown, but the red is less slimy. So if you're using it to fry just to eat, then the red is definitely a good option. We have kohlrabi Sweet Vienna. So we tried this at my cousin's farm in Indiana for the first time a couple summers ago, and it was really good. It's kind of a has a little bit of a turnip flavor, I think. And it's got this really funky, like it grows in a globe on top of the ground, and then it has the sprouts of leaves coming up off of it. And it definitely looks a little funky, but it was really good. We have 3 different varieties of cucumbers that will be available in the greenhouse. These are the 3 typical types that people will eat. There's an eating cucumber, a burpless cucumber, and a pickling cucumber. The first one is Burpless Beauty. The second one is Burpee Pickler, which these will grow the right size for pickling, and as long as you catch them in time. If you don't catch them in time, you will have this huge, really stout cucumber that will not fit in a jar. And then the last one we have is Straight 8, which is again a really good just slicing and eating type cucumber. Next, we have 3 varieties of tomatoes. We have Super Beefsteak. This is just your typical big red tomato, and we will probably be selling some of these early in the greenhouse. That way they can get a little bigger, and we won't just have the small 4-packs available. We will have maybe 4-inch pots and maybe even a little bigger depending on how they end up growing. This was one of Mom's favorites this year. She loved these, and they are perfect for slicing for a sandwich or anything like that. Next, we have Mortgage Lifter. We have not actually had this, but we had a couple people come in the greenhouse last year and ask for these, so we're giving them a shot. Then we have Honeycomb Hybrid. These are a little cherry tomato that's kind of an orange yellow color. And one of our favorite tomatoes that we grow are the Super Sweet 100s because they are super productive and you can just pop them off and pop them in your mouth. The hardest part on those is actually getting enough to take home because the whole time you're harvesting, you're just eating them as you go. And they're super easy to throw into a lunch or chop up real small for salads and that sort of thing. So we're excited to try an orange variety of those. That is all of the vegetables we have ordered so far. And next we'll talk about the flowers we got from Burpee Seeds. We have several varieties of zinnias. We have a bunch of colors of zinnias that have been given to us over the years or that we've saved. And we ordered a lot more still because we love them so much. They're beautiful for cut flowers, but they're also beautiful. If you just have a bare spot in your garden, you can just throw these seeds out, barely cover them, and they will come up. They require nothing. The first one we have is Zinnia Forecast. These are, they're not your full double zinnias, but they are so pretty, and they open up and they're all different colors, so we'll put a picture up on the screen. Next, we have Old Mexico. These are really fun. They're kind of spiky and they're yellow and red. They have yellow tips on some, just the very tip of the petal will be yellow. And then others, they're almost completely yellow. So each packet you get will have a variety. Next, we have Raspberry Lemonade Mix, which this was one of my favorites last year. I love the hot pink and yellow combination. It's just so bright and bold, and it would look so pretty in a planter or out in your flower beds. Last, we have Color Crackle. These are kind of similar to the Old Mexico, except it's a really deep magenta purple with white on the tips. And there's not going to be as much variegation in these. They are all very like, the white will only be on the tips and the maroon will only be in the center. Next, we have Spellbound Petunias. So we grew these last year and my grandma absolutely adored these. So we ended up buying 4 different colors of them. Again, petunias are really hard to start from seed, but these came up really well and their leaves were just huge. They didn't even look like a petunia leaf. They were round, and those things, my grandma had a pot on her front porch and she put a cage around it that was probably this tall, and that petunia grew up through the cage and out over the side, and it bloomed all season long. They have really pretty big frilly petals on them, and then they have really defined dark veins in the center. And they were just so pretty and so easy that we decided to go all out and buy all 4 different colors this year. Next, we have another one of our favorites that are very easy, and that is marigolds. This first variety is Elevate Orange, and unlike your typical marigold that's kind of nestled into the leaves, these stems will actually come up out of the leaves and then have the marigold bloom on top, so that way they're a little more visible and they would be better for a cut flower type situation. We have Strawberry Blonde, that again, one of our favorites from last year. It's kind of a peachy yellow color, and each one's so different. Like they might start off with a paler color and then end up almost burgundy by the end, and they change throughout the season and each bloom will be a little different. We have Mission Giant Yellow, which is just a really big marigold. And I can't decide. I can't decide whether I like the really big ones that have a few blooms on there, or if I like the little dainty blooms that are just covering the plant. Next, we have Triple Treat. This one is just kind of an orangish yellow, not quite bicolor, but it kind of fades into different colors. And within the plant, you'll see a little bit of variegation. Marigolds are also really good to repel insects. So if you plant these within your vegetables in the garden, it'll help keep the bugs away. Next, we have Moulin Rouge Pansies. These are a double pansy in all different colors. You might have some that are bicolor, you'll have some that are solids, but I really like the double frilly petals on these. Pansies are also incredibly frost hardy. We have some out in the garden, out in our pots right now that are still going strong. I mean, it's snowed on them. They aren't blooming as much, but they are still very green, and we have not touched those. I have not watered them or anything. They have just got what little snow and rain we've received. So these guys are tough, and they are a lot of fun to grow. Next, we have English Lavender. So if you watched my video before, I told you that we're going to try to grow several different varieties of lavender. So this is one of the ones that we're going to add to the cut flower garden. I'm anxious to see the differences in each variety, how similar they are, and just how they can contribute to both our cut flowers, but also for dried flowers and that sort of thing. Last, we have Mandarin Orange Cosmos. We had these last year and they were really pretty. They're almost a double, not quite a double Cosmo, but they've got really full pretty petals, and they are a bright bold orange. So these are a really pretty addition that are very easy to grow. The next thing we received in the mail that is not seed related is this Florette Farms Cut Flower Garden book. We are so excited for this. It has so much information and all these beautiful pictures. It's got how to grow different varieties and different bouquet projects you can do. While we're talking about the cut flower garden, I am interested to know what you guys would like to see. this is our trial year, so we are just playing around with it, seeing if we can even grow the flowers. But if it is a success, would you like to have a pick your own type garden? Would you like for us to have individual stems available that you can make your own bouquet? Or would you rather us just sell small bouquets within our greenhouse store? Drop that in the comments and let us know what you think, because we're just playing around with the idea for this year, but we'd really like to see and offer you guys what you would best fit your needs. I hope you enjoyed our part 2 of our seed unboxing. We are so excited to get some of these planted. I will probably begin starting seeds this week. We are going to try out a winter sowing method in gallon jugs that you put outside, and we are also going to do some in seed trays. So we'll make a video as we go showing you the process on both of those methods. Thank you for joining us today, and we will see you in the next one.